With Rise just days away, excitement for the game has peaked for fans and new players alike, so I figured I'd make a quick starter guide of my favorite weapons in the Monster Hunter series to help you guys out. Rise will likely be more complicated than previous games combat-wise due to the switch skills, the wirebug moves, and more, so the aim for this guide will be a quick and easy to learn base for each weapon so you start off on the right foot. More advanced guides will be made post-release, but for now, this should help you guys out. There is a training room area in the game which I still recommend checking out to get used to the controls, and there are hunter's notes in the options menu to check out some simple descriptions of each weapon and some of the effects. But when it comes to hunting and kill time, this guide should prove useful. Before that though, there are some adjustments to make in the options menu. Change radial system to click and auto sheave to not auto sheave. These things are default but usually end up messing you up in more ways than one. Likewise, this switch has ZL and ZR button names, but in my opinion that's just confusing, especially coming from console and PC, so I'll just refer to them as the classic L2 and R2. The hammer has long been my favorite weapon of the series, and in Rise, it's as fun as it's ever been, gaining more mobility and faster ways to get max charge damage, as well as a counter in the full game. The hammer deals blunt damage, #420, and with enough hits to a monster's head, it can KO and stun them for even more free damage. So for hammer, prioritize bonking the face, and craft high raw hammers more than the elemental ones, as more raw equals more stuns. Now the hammer can be simplified in two ways, the charge state and the combo state. When you're not hitting the monster, well, you're usually charging up your hammer, which does consume stamina, so be mindful. But hammer has two charge modes this time, we'll say blue and yellow, but generally blue is the best one. However, switching from blue to yellow will instantly give you level 3 charge immediately, so a good combo to do there is press R2 plus A to power the hammer up, then switch from blue to yellow by pressing A again while charging, and then you decide between spin to win by letting it go, or the wirebug move Impact Crater for big damage. If you're on yellow already, then simply pressing R2 plus A twice will get you to the level 3 charge faster than just holding down charge in yellow. So essentially, you should never charge in yellow, only blue. Of course, spamming X is fine enough as well for faster monsters. Just be aware to either press the R2 button or roll at the end of the golf swing, as the animation will linger before you can move again. So you can cancel that animation and others by doing those other actions instead. Alternatively, if the monster is knocked out, at the end of a golf swing, spamming A will do the big bang combo for even more damage. But you generally will only have time to do this once the monster is knocked out, or exhausted, or put in a trap. And that is the hammer. The Greatsword is a brutish weapon that can cleave giant monsters in two, sever tails off, and in Rise, it's faster than ever? The game plan for Greatsword is simple. Charge sword, deal big boonga boonga damage. Though, the actual execution, I would say, is slightly harder for new players due to the slower animations, the recovery frames, and the positioning required. Luckily, GS has some tools to help, like the tackle when charging that can not only hyper armor attacks, deal blunt damage for potential KOs, phase through roars, but it'll also bump up your next charge holding X to the next level, which you can go all the way to level 3. If the level 3 doesn't look like a good option though, then tackle using A and then hitting A again will do a lunging swing for more AoE damage. The wirebug move Power Sheave is a great move to have to get out of dodge with mobility, all while buffing your weapon's attack. For the combo to fastest get to level 3 TCS, simply tap X while holding the left analog stick back till you get to the level 3 animation, which you hold and unleash after it charges twice. You can sub in tackles instead of a chop as well to stay in the monster's face mid-attack. Likewise, dodge into X will do a tackle and put you immediately to level 2 charge, so use that to your advantage when fighting. All in all, you'll have to choose your opening on when to fully charge and when to simply do a small charge or a chop instead, depending on the monster's actions in the moment. So for veterans, Greatsword plays pretty much the same as it's always played, with a few extra tricks from the wirebug moves. And oh yeah, just FYI, you can block with Greatsword holding R2, although with Power Sheath, it just doesn't scream that useful anymore. And the last weapon for today's episode, the Longsword. Ah yes, the best weapon in the game. No, but really, for speed kills, LS has the fastest time against the Magnum Mala demo, and it's no wonder. Longsword is a beast in Rise. It can sever tails, it's got long range, fast attacks, the ability to counter every monster attack without needing certain skills to function properly like some other weapons do. Greatsword, making it by and large the best defensive and offensive weapon in one package. It is nerfed slightly in the full game, but rest assured, it is still powerful. So, becoming a weeb is easy. Simply spear slash or counter your way to red sword gauge, and then either stay there for increased damage, or do the super move Helmbreaker for a big burst attack. The basic combo to increasing your gauge is spamming X till your meter fills up, to which then you spam R2 and land the final slash to increase your gauge. If you don't land that last hit though, you don't increase the gauge. Be mindful of that. But nowadays, countering your way up to red gauge is, well, simply better using Foresight Slash and EI Spirit Slash. To use Foresight Slash, you have to press R2 plus A during another attack. So for example, A to poke, then R2 plus A will do the Foresight Slash, and if you press R2 after the upswing and hit the enemy, a final slash will be done, which will upgrade your gauge if it hits the monster. The Foresight effect can trigger against roars for an easy upgrade at the start of the fight as well, making earplugs not so great of a skill for longsword users. A successful Foresight Slash is indicated by blue sparks, and you must land the R2 hit in order to increase the gauge. The other way to increase gauge is EI Spirit Slash. Pressing R2 plus E will put you into a sheath stance. Pressing X again will do a short 2-hit attack that gives you a boost effect to your meter, filling your gauge up over time, but the main cheese, literally, is sheath stance and then R2. Unlike World, this no longer decreases your gauge. In fact, it raises it, so if you counter a monster's attack correctly, like Sekiro, you will not only get good damage, but actually upgrade your gauge at the same time. Wow, insane. And once at red gauge, you can do the Silkbind move Helmbreaker attack that launches to an enemy, and if you press R2, you'll rain down death at the cost of a gauge. If you hit X while doing that, you'll do a thrust down move that builds meter, similar to the Sheath quick attack. And yeah, while Longsword may have a fairly complex moveset compared to some weapons, if you do master it, you can live out your favorite anime. Just don't attack only the head of a monster in multiplayer when hammer and other blunt weapons got a job to do and you be tripping it, bro, so don't do that. And that is it for the first episode. Hopefully these few tips can improve your gameplay faster or help you decide which weapon you want to start out in Rise. I might make a second video with my remaining favorite weapons like Switch Axe and Charge Blade if there is enough time before launch, so let me know if you want to see that video in the comments below. Hitting the like button on this video is also an incentive, and yeah, I plan to stream the entire game on Friday, and I plan to make guides like I've done before for World for each individual weapon in the future, in depth and with the best combos. So look forward to that by subscribing and hitting the notification bell for more Rise epicness.